Frieza is exiting his spaceship. His mission? Destroy Planet Vegeta and all the Saiyans that inhabit it. The Super Saiyan, and even to a lesser extent the Super Saiyan God, scared Frieza enough that he wanted rid of the Saiyan race. Beerus' blessing was just the icing on the cake, so Frieza looks down at the planet and sees a single Saiyan flying in the upper atmosphere. Seemingly, he knows what's about to happen, but with his power level, he can't stop what's about to happen. So, Frieza launches the key ball at Planet Vegeta, maniacally laughing as he does, and waiting to watch the power levels drop to nothing. Bardock fires his own blast back at Frieza, a desperate but useless effort, because even using his non-canon power level of 10,000, which we will use for the sake of this video, he just isn't enough. As his own blast is pushed back with ease, he thinks about the planet behind him. Gine, the woman who changed his life and his outlook. Raditz, stuck with that upstart, arrogant little prince. And Kakarot, sent away to some foreign planet where he may never see his parents again. Kakarot may not even survive, despite how weak the Earth actually is. If Bardock couldn't stop this attack, the family he's come to care about would dissolve right away in front of him. In that moment, despair became fear, and fear turned to rage. The kindness Gine had instilled in him gave him just enough purity to become what had only been a legend till this point: the Super Saiyan. In an explosive final push, Bardock's blast destroys Frieza's with ease. The power Bardock has as a Super Saiyan is less than Frieza's first form, but Frieza is off guard and holding back. He hadn't expected a Super Saiyan to awaken in the final moments of Planet Vegeta, so before Frieza can even release his full power, Bardock's blast continues after destroying the Death Ball and disintegrates Frieza before he knows what hit him. From here, Bardock uses his immense power to quickly dispose of the rest of Frieza's soldiers. One by one, they fall at his hands. The soldiers who had looked down on and even mocked the Saiyans were finally put down and overthrown by the legend that their emperor feared. On Planet Vegeta, a true rebellion had started, but some of Frieza's men were able to destroy the ships and flight bays before they were killed, a final act of vengeance to show the Saiyans were nothing without the Frieza force. Bardock returns to Planet Vegeta and helps finish off the rest of Frieza's men. Then he quickly finds Gine, asking her if she's okay and telling her that something crazy happened. She can tell by the hair, but she tells him not to worry about that now. They have to go get Kakarot now that Frieza is defeated. With no ships on the planet, they'd have to think of something else. Bardock asks some of the royal engineers how long creating new ships will take. They tell the Super Saiyan that without parts from the Frieza Force, it could take over a decade to get one moderately sized ship up and running. That's not including the launch bays and the landing pads. Bardock thinks it over and asks if having a mostly intact ship could speed up the process. The engineer says yes, but where would they get such a ship? The Frieza Force destroyed the ships extremely thoroughly. Bardock doesn't say a word and flies upwards at full speed. He comes back down with Frieza's ship in his arms. He asks the engineer if this will do, and he simply nods. As opposed to making new ships, repairing Frieza's ship, the launching and landing bays only takes around 5 years. Not ideal, but better than waiting over a decade. Once the ship is finished, Bardock is told and he gets ready to bring Gine with him to go get Kakarot from Earth. As he makes his way to the launch bay, he's met by a group of high-ranking Saiyans and King Vegeta himself. King Vegeta tells Bardock that this ship will be used for colonization and resource gathering. It has room for many Saiyans and will be used for the betterment of their species rather than a rescue mission for his son. Bardock gets angry. Not only was Frieza's ship something he got for them, they'd all be dead without him. King Vegeta tells him that whether Super Saiyan or not, he's still not the king of the Saiyans. Bardock couldn't believe what he was hearing. The Saiyans living a life of destruction and conquest is what led them to almost be destroyed by Frieza. Did King Vegeta really think returning to that life wouldn't lead to the same thing? Bardock couldn't let this stand any longer. Over the last 5 years, he's managed to further his understanding of the Super Saiyan form. enough to harness its power at will. He walks towards King Vegeta, and as he does, he activates Super Saiyan. Bardock makes it very clear in that moment that no one will keep him away from his son. King Vegeta sees that he's outmatched, but if he doesn't at the very least challenge Bardock, he'll never be respected by his subordinates ever again. So he charges in. Bardock stands completely still, taking punch after punch without so much as twitching. A single punch in retaliation was enough to put King Vegeta on the ground, angered by his own failure and weakness. He awaits the finishing blow, but it never comes. Bardock extends a hand to King Vegeta. He doesn't want to be king of the Saiyans. He just wants his son to come home and a new path to be forged for the Saiyans. King Vegeta takes the hand and rises from the ground. He smiles, and Bardock thinks he's finally understood what needs to happen. Fool. King Vegeta spits on Bardock's mercy and destroys the repaired Frieza ship in a single blast. Bardock snaps, and with a single punch ends the king's life. He looks around at the other Saiyans, who all immediately kneel before the Super Saiyan. Bardock looks for Gine, and eventually spots her on the ground, sobbing. Without that ship, they won't be able to go get their son, and they'd need to wait at least 5 more years for a new ship to be finished. Luckily, they won't have to wait a decade, as new ships were already started, but 5 years longer was something Gine's emotions just couldn't handle at that moment. Bardock reverts to his base form and helps Gine off the ground, and the two begin to head to their home, but are stopped before they can leave. A royal advisor to King Vegeta tells Bardock that the Saiyans need a king, and as the person who defeated King Vegeta, Bardock should take that role. This isn't what Bardock wanted. Political power meant very little to him. He just wanted to save the Saiyans, and more importantly, save his family. He almost declines the offer, but he realizes both of his goals would be helped by him becoming the king of the Saiyans. He could chart a new, peaceful path for the warrior race, and he could even focus on getting his son before anything else. Reluctantly, Bardock accepts his new role as king and is escorted to the castle where he is inaugurated and will live for the rest of his days. Over the next 5 years, the lower-class Saiyans came to revere Bardock as more than just a king, but also a messiah. His mission of a peaceful life for the Saiyans was in full effect. The Saiyans under him seemed to enjoy this lifestyle, but that was about to change when the first Saiyan ship was completed and Bardock says he's leaving to rescue his son. The Saiyans didn't understand. A journey like this would take some time both ways, and without their leader, their savior, could they really be safe? Regardless, he is their king, and with the Super Saiyan form, no one could stop him from doing what he wants anyway. So Bardock and Gine board the newly made ship to retrieve their son. He tells his advisors to take care of things while he is gone, and reassures all the Saiyans that he'll be back as quickly as possible. The Saiyans salute their leader on his way off. So the pair set off on their mission to rescue their son. The round trip would take around a year by itself, not including time spent searching for Kakarot once they arrive on Earth. Meanwhile, news has reached Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz about the rebellion against and the death of King Vegeta. But this news isn't given to them by the Saiyans. It's a vengeful father and retired emperor, King Cold, who delivers the news, twisting the truth as he tells the tale. Cold tells the Saiyans that Bardock had immediately gone to kill King Vegeta after becoming the Super Saiyan, and Frieza heroically gave his life trying to stop him. This, of course, never happened, but they had no way to know that. Raditz goes to speak up and defend his father, but Vegeta, in a blind rage, blasts him, killing him on the spot. King Cold smiles while not facing the two, and tells them that due to the nature of this tragedy, he will allow the Saiyans to do whatever they feel fit to mourn. The two bow and leave his room. Vegeta tells Nappa that the Saiyans will recognize him as the prince and he will retake his planet, claiming his rightful place as the king of Planet Vegeta. So, they take one of King Cold's ships and head to Planet Vegeta immediately. The journey doesn't take long at all. Only a couple of days after Bardock had left the planet with Gine, Nappa and Vegeta arrive, back after being gone for a decade on missions of conquest and working directly for King Cold. The Saiyans surround the ship as it lands, suspecting a group of Frieza soldiers to come out seeking revenge, but all their weapons and charged ki blasts are lowered when they see two Saiyans exit the ship. Nappa and Vegeta are welcomed back to the planet with open arms. "So, where is this new king of yours?" The Saiyans tell the now fully grown prince that Bardock is off-world, and he'd be gone for at least a year. This opportunity is immediately apparent to the young prince. "In his absence, it would be my honor to help guide the Saiyans forward on his mission." The Saiyans were clearly upset and lost with the quick departure of Bardock, so they cheered this idea on and accepted Vegeta as a temporary ruler of Planet Vegeta. Nappa is surprised to hear Vegeta continue the peaceful life of the Saiyans, but Vegeta tells Nappa that they will be no match for a being that could beat Frieza. They will play Bardock's game while they train in secret to defeat the so-called Super Saiyan. Nappa is still nervous since the Super Saiyan is supposedly unbeatable, but Vegeta reassures him that he will become a Super Saiyan as well. "If a low-class warrior like him can achieve that power, then a prince will have no difficulty doing the same." With that, Vegeta and Nappa begin to use the facilities of Planet Vegeta to train, even having special training rooms built to exploit Saiyan biology. Meanwhile, King Cold is on his ship pondering his next move. If the Super Saiyan could easily defeat Frieza, then it could potentially defeat him as well. Using Vegeta and Nappa to scout the situation would benefit him greatly, especially if he could get them to be Super Saiyans as well. He could easily defeat this usurper with their unwitting help. With this set, around half a year passes. Bardock and Gine arrive on Earth using their scouters to locate Kakarot and fly to him, arriving at Mount Paozu right outside the home of Grandpa Gohan. Grandpa Gohan emerges from the hut to confront them. What will happen next? This story was written on the live streams as a choose-your-own-adventure where the chat voted on different outcomes. If you want another stream for this story to continue, leave a like and a comment below. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already, and thank you all very much for watching.